Today is now day 79, ladies and gentlemen, of our 1000 Dawns, and you know what that means. It means that in 3 weeks' time, we will be a whole 100 days into our epic adventure. And to that, we have a bit of a problem. And for those who don't really know what I mean, allow me to, explain it to you guys. There's no other way of doing it. We, in the span of, if you consider how far we've actually come so far in these last 79 days, we run into a problem where I was half expecting we would be quite further ahead in life and quite further ahead with for things that we've been up to and things that we're doing, and I was half expecting, as good as it's been in terms of getting myself back on my feet and getting to this position and actually having things to work towards. Things just seem to be a bit, slower than I was half expecting, and, we can't really do slow. We need to accelerate the process, and usually, and as I've explained ad nauseum, usually the second half of each month so far this year, we've stepped on the accelerator, we've stepped up a gear, we've tried to do things better, to be more dynamic, more stronger, faster, reliable, all better things to be accentuated. And the problem we have at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, is a very interesting one, because tomorrow is when I get paid off work. And in order to, make sure we come up good over the next couple of weeks, there are a few interesting little changes I'm putting in place from the start. The first is that, how I spoke about last week, and how I started cutting subscriptions fast and loose all over the place, specifically because we had to find ways to save cost one way or another. But curiously enough, starting tomorrow, I'm actually going to put on one new subscription, and that is I'm getting myself back to the gym for at least, I would say, around about 3 or so months. Now, the reason why we're doing that is because, for those not in the know, I'm doing a 2-day sponsored charity bike ride for charity, in which I have to cycle from Aberdeen to Plymouth. Indoor, by the way, so I'm not really having to risk my life going outside and going as far as Aberdeen just to get myself all the way down to Plymouth. However, it's 2 days, 12 hours each, 617 miles is the distance I have to cover. A big undertaking, and there's no other way of putting it off. I have to start training, and thankfully, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I have days off all of those all pretty much this week. And even when I am at work, starting from Friday, and then it doesn't actually end until Thursday of next week, so I've got about 6 days in a row of work. But that does also mean I'll have to make time, aka cycling in the morning and resting enough, and then getting ready to go to work. Now, if my hunches are correct, what I plan to do is to cycle for an average about 3 hours a day, starting tomorrow. And doing that means that, we can start getting into a rhythm. And once we get our rhythm going, it means that we could be in pole position for a good place to start. Because, again, 617 miles is not exactly what I would call easy on a bicycle. So with those criteria in place, there's a lot of work that's going to have to be put into this, and I do mean a lot. But thankfully, if we are going to go back to the gym again for the first time in about 2 months, we may as well make good use of it. And that's kind of the first major kickstart, if you will. And thankfully, for the next couple of weeks, you're going to start to notice a similar pattern of, well, no more petty excuses, and we just, well, get on with it. And speaking of getting on with it, I'm going to have a little bit of a rethink in terms of, well, my Vegas fund for May, because I planned to put another grand away in the span of about 50 days, and realistically, it's going to be about a grand to put away in, let's say, about maybe 100, maybe in 75 days, because, well, I do admit I'm not prepared to completely put my finances to the slaughter over this. I've still got to be able to eat and pay my bills and do everything else that comes with it. So in that respect, well, we're just gonna have to, it's just making a few small changes here and there. Ideally, again, if we get to Vegas sooner rather than later, so much the better. But we're gonna have to be a little bit more sensible about just how we're gonna make this happen. And it's still probably not gonna happen for a while yet. But in the meantime, I'll see all of you guys again next time. Thank you.